Hello guys, happy Monday. So today I'm doing my usual weekly show, which I've decided to, well, actually decided last week, because I feel that more people need to really understand about the energy, right? Because when you think about it, people want to have more success, more money, they want to have more clients in their business, better relationship, you want to be stronger leaders, you want to get to the next level of our life. And there are so many courses, there's so many programs that you can sign up to do all of that. But at the core of it, unless you have the energy, there is nothing you can't do in your life. And addressing that energy, understanding how you're energetically designed to show up in life, to navigate through challenges, to communicate, to make better decisions, that's when you can start then creating more abundance, more success, better health, everything else in your life. But you've got to start with a cause. And a cause is that most of us are burnt out, not necessarily physically, but maybe emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, however you think about that, right? So today I'm really, really excited. I'm going to bring out Soraya Rosa. So she is a manifestor. Now, if you're not familiar with human design, there is a lot of information out there, which basically teaches you how to use your energy correctly. And now I'm going to bring out Soraya, who's, as I said, manifestor, and just explore a little bit more. What does it mean to be manifestor? How does she use her energy correctly in her business and her life, and what difference it made to her once she applied human design once she started applying human design into her business. So I'm just going to bring it out. Give me a second. So she should be with us shortly. And if anybody's watching it and you know your human design on replay or on live, just pop it in a comment below. We would love to know what your human design is. Hi, Soraya, how are you?
Hi, Lena. I'm great, and you?
I'm also great. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yes,
Maybe like, yeah, so thank you so much for agreeing to come. You actually were one of the first people, feels like ages ago, who told me about human design. I just kind of was starting with it. And I remember you were telling me, I'm a manifestor, you're a manifestor, and I'm a generator. I'm like, I don't want to be generator, I want to manifest. You're wrong. You can't be right about that. And I was like offended, not offended, but you know what I mean? I was like, no, I don't like being a generator. And of course, now, understanding so much more about human design, there's just the beauty in every single type, isn't it? We're all special in our unique way. So, yes, I mean, it's been an interesting journey. So tell me how you are a manifester, right? With an emotional authority. So I'm just curious, when you kind of understood that, let me know like whether this being manifester, whether that resonates with you and whether this understanding has like created any light bulb moments in your life.
Oh, it's too many to count. I think when I first read about what being a manifestor was, it just explained so many things about me. Um, I just kept thinking, what is wrong with me? Why am I so different from everybody else? And people did really point that out. Like, what are you doing? Why'd you do it this way? Do it that way. Um, and so reading about what it is to be a manifestor, it just made me understand that all of these things that I was doing, they're very normal. They're manifestor like, or they come from our design. And so it just felt like, oh my God, I actually am like this. There's nothing wrong with me. I am just okay with being me. So create this sense of relief overall. And the more that I understood about it, the more that I wanted to become that my design was saying that I was, because the more I was starting to lean into it, the better I felt.
Exactly. Isn't it amazing? Once you begin to understand that, you release that self-judgment, right? Because we burn so much energy on judging ourselves, on trying to fit in and trying to be like everyone else, trying to seek validation, approval. And every time we do that, we not being true to ourselves, right? So we give that energy away and then we drained, we burnt out, we overwhelmed. I mean, you name it. It can cause so many psychological, emotional, spiritual, and even physical issues. So I think that information is incredible. So tell me, like, as a manifester, right? You're designed to multitask. You're this multi-passionate human being. How does it work for you? Are you working on multiple projects at the same time?
Well, it's difficult because inspiration does come through in many different areas, and sometimes it is so much that I cannot take action on all of it. Sometimes I just have to note it down and wait for later, because I just don't have the energy to get the ball rolling on everything at the same time. And when I do, some of the things end up, just I start them, but I don't necessarily finish them. So they're just there waiting for me. I have a bunch of projects like that, including a short human design course that I was meant to do because I love it so much. I got it started, and I'm like, I don't have the energy for this anymore. And it's
Yes.
been sitting there. Um, but yeah, there's just so many things, and leaning into the authority is what's been helping me in deciding what is it that I'm actually going to initiate right now, or what is it that I'm going to hold on for later, for when it feels right, because it can be easily, it can drain me very fast, very easily if I don't pay attention to this. So actually understanding human design from this perspective helped me so much with the decision making process.
Exactly. And a manifester, it's not an energy really human being. I mean, not like generator, right? So the importance really of understanding the cycles of rest and restoration is just so important.
Yeah.
So there, and also, it's interesting what you said. You start things, but then you don't finish them. And we are so deeply conditioned, especially when we are children, right? You work on one thing only, you finish what you start. And actually, for manifestors, it's a misuse, it's an abuse of the energy because they're like multi passionate. And it's almost like throwing spaghetti on a wall and seeing which one sticks and just going for that. If that's what you want to do, that's what you feel passionate about. And my daughter, she's got similar chart to yours. Well, in a respect that she is a manifester and also an emotional manifester. And understanding that, I was like, oh, that's why she does it. That's why she doesn't hear me. That's why she like gets everything out, and then maybe she doesn't even tidy up. So like instead of me telling her, finish what you started, like I would do with my generator son, I'm like, look, can you just like maybe tidy up, like, but just go do your own thing. So that's a massive help, isn't it? And like understanding that how you operate in your business, in your life, is just so liberating.
Just understanding that I don't have to finish everything that I start. It's already very liberating.
Exactly. And being okay with it, right? And being okay with it.
Yeah,
Yes,
like this pressure inside of me to get it done, to get it finished. But once you understand that you're not designed for that, it just gives you permission not to, and that feels really good.
absolutely. And it's interesting what you said about authority. And for those, who are watching live or on replay, so authority is the inner decision-making process. So we're all wired to make decisions in a certain way. For some of us, like for myself, for example, I'm a generator with sacral authority. The decision is in a now. My sacral literally would like burn. Even I'm going, I can't freaking afford this, or I don't have time to do this, but you just get this pull and you just can't ignore it. And making decisions on the spot, that's how I designed, and it still freaks me out. But the more you follow it, the stronger that knowingness and that intuition becomes. And eventually it just helps you to get out of this mental overthinking burnout. But with emotional authority, which is the authority that you have, it's different. Can you elaborate on that?
It takes me a little bit. It's still taking me a little bit to fully understand how it works, but basically, what I've noticed is sometimes I just know in the moment. It takes me maybe 5 minutes. 5 minutes is enough for me to know that this is what I want. But I noticed also that because with emotional authority, there's no truth in the present moment, that I should wait a little bit. And I started experimenting with this. And I understood if I wait a couple of days, I make an inner decision. And if I wait a couple of days, then some sort of magic happens for me to get what I want. Instead of me just
Mm.
pushing to get it done, or, going for the purchase right in the moment. If I wait a couple of days, then suddenly there's sales that comes through or something like that, or something's offered to me. So I noticed that even if I have the clarity that I want something, waiting a little bit can create better results for me. Um, but it's almost this, and I think this is also, it's not just the emotional authority, but it's also being related to being a manifestor, is I just want to do what I feel like doing and nothing else. So if I feel like eating something in particular, that's what I got to go with. And if I don't feel like eating something, if I do it, then it's going to really upset my body. Um, but sometimes it's very easy to understand what I feel like doing, and other times it takes a while for that information to come through. And honestly, this waiting period of I feel like doing something, I have no idea what it is. I don't have any ideas. I don't know what it feels like, and I'm just gonna have to sit here and wait for the information. That can be um, it's a in between space that is really difficult for me, to be honest.
I think it's difficult for everyone, but waiting is just so important, right? I mean, imagine like for projectors, they're here to wait to be invited. And sometimes it can take a lot of time. And I know a lot of projectors, they're like, I can't do it. I've got to go and do something. And they kind of sabotage, and I understand them because even though I'm responding, so it's a lot faster for me. I often, even now, I catch myself behaving as a manifester, but my body tells me. Like last year, I had 2 burnouts, and now recently I started pushing again. It was just before Christmas, and I started getting this like whispers. You're like, slow down, sit and do nothing, journal, meditate. I'm like, yeah, I will. When it's Christmas, I will. I kind of was putting it away, and then bang, just before Christmas, I had COVID. I was like, oh, amazing. And I was literally lying flat in my bed for 2 weeks. There was nothing I could do. I was just like nauseated by everything. And my mind was just going berserk. But I guess that's what's the warnings, I was ignoring. So yeah, no, it's absolutely fascinating. Waiting is essential because that's when we get our clarity. And this is then creates that space for, I guess, more opportunities to come into our lives, right? Because when you're so busy thinking and doing, you kind of closed up. You're close to that energy that's wanting to come and inspire you. We just don't give it a chance.
That's true.
And also just wanted to touch really on your profile because, it's all, energy type, strategy, authority, and a profile are just so important to really understand. So is a profile 5-1, what does it mean to you?
Oh, it took me a little bit of time, to dig a little bit into that. It wasn't one of the very first things that I was going for, but the 5 means heretic and the first means investigator. And the more I started to see that, the more I started to identify with it. Um, Interestingly, before doing what I'm doing right now, I was doing research. So that really falls within the investigative profile. And it also falls within the heretic because I was digging through information, figuring out what is important, and bringing it in a way that I could universalize it for everybody so that everybody could use a new protocol, a new test, a new result that I was bringing through with the investigations. So that made a lot of sense looking into my past, but it also started to make a lot of sense to me right here, right now, because I understood that I need the time to sit down and study and go over a lot of material to figure out what is important, what is useful, so that I can bring it to those who are around me. So it took away the pressure, when you're starting business and a lot of the information that's out there is for generators and manifesting generators. And this pressure to just keep going and doing things. And then I understood, no, I need to sit down and I need to study. Like, I'm not supposed to be showing my face all the time. I'm not supposed to be out there all the time. And that just felt so good that I could just, for a week or so, sit back and do some, background work, study, go over things that I could optimize and so on. It feels really good. And at the same time, being a 5-1 manifester, I just feel like every time I research something that I want to test the hypothesis to see if something's going to work, it's going to create the actual result that I want to. And I start to bring that out into my community, and I present them with an opportunity of, hey, I really wanted to test that out because I figured out this and this. Do you want to give it a try with me? Everybody is just so eager to jump on board. It's amazing. Whereas all the information out there saying, no, you master one thing and you become great at this one thing and you keep doing this one thing for the rest of your life. It just took the life out of me. I have to keep bringing in new things because I have to initiate new things into the world. I just can't be doing the same thing over and over again. And once the process is done, I just feel like I need to put it in somebody else's hands and move on. Like I'm not supposed to stay within the same thing. So this 5-1 profile, it almost feels like I gather a tribe and then I walk this tribe through a process as I am going through the process too. I figure out what's important, what's new, what can I bring in for them, and I keep bringing them with me along the journey. And this is something that I didn't see as I started business. I was really, stuck with that idea of, okay, I'm really good at doing aura readings, so I'm going to do aura readings forever. This is what I'm going to do. And a year later, I'm like, I'm so bored. I need to do something else. I like to do these readings, but it's just not being enough for me anymore. And I also notice as a 5-1, when I take the time to study, to not show up so much, not post as much, but I'm studying, whether it's human design or gene keys or something else, I notice that people start to feel drawn to me. They come to me without me doing anything. So it's like this, the more we step into our profile and into being who we're really meant to be, the more magnetic we become for our community. It's been a game changer, is what I can do. If you guys are listening to this, if you never had a human design reading, I highly recommend you to go for it because it completely transformed my life and my business.
Yeah, no, I likewise, like I remember when I started studying it, I was like, this chart knows me better than I know myself. I was just like crying tears of relief, especially when I went into my life purpose, into my soul purpose, my spiritual purpose. And I was like, oh my goodness, I knew this when I was 5 years old. How could I have forgotten it? But then, of course, then the confidence comes in, like who the hell am I to even teach that or talk about that and, to do readings. And there's just so much conditioning, so much, patterns were coming up. And then it was like a long process of deconditioning. Of course, I'm still going through it, it's like never ending journey. But to realize all of that, and I'm like, I'm not a computer programmer. I'm not a business architect. I know it's my background. That's what I've done for 20 years. But this is not who I am. And I've known that, right? But it's been so suppressed. And that really allowed to bring me into into the awareness. And that's just like, whoa. I was like, that was the missing piece in my life. So it completely, like you said, was a game changer for me. Yes, no. Incredible. I mean, the 5-1 profile also, it really helps you to understand, like you said, you need the time to research and dig deep into things, which lays those foundations, and you get informations to go and universalize it, to share it with the people around you. But like what you also said, when we start a business, there's this pressure to go and do more, to show up 10 times a day on a social media, right? And then you're like, intuitively, you have to put some time into research, but because there's so much pressure to do, you just physically don't have enough hours in a day to really research and read and do things, because you're just like doing. And with your design, same as with my design, we have an open head and an open roots, which means we're in this like pressure cooker to do and think and do and think and do and think. So it's just like, it's crazy.
Oh, it
Yeah.
is. But it's also very useful to, feel into the environment around you, pick up on those thoughts up in the air. And, well, like you said, deconditioning is an entire process. It's going to take so long, but oh my God, it's literally the 5-1 profile. It really helped me decondition, was one of the parts that really played full out for me because, like you were saying, keep showing up on social media every day, multiple times a day, be everywhere, be in all platforms. And suddenly I listened to this video that says 5-1s are not supposed to be on camera all the time. You're not supposed to show up all the time. When you show up all the time, you demagnetize your power. You have to go in, do your thing, and excuse yourself out, and go do your study and your research, and then show up again with the information and withdraw. And that just felt like, oh my god. So it's okay. I can do that.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, I also have a 5 in my profile. I'm a 3-5. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's all about experimenting and tweaking and making mistakes, right? And my whole life, I was like, why is this all so messed up? I feel like I couldn't do a thing right. Like I'll do that, it doesn't work. And I'm like, I'll fix it and it doesn't work. And then I'll try that. And like, people around me, people closest to me say, why can't you just learn from this and this? Why don't you read up and just research a bit? Or why don't you, and they would give me so many suggestions and I'll try to listen to that person and to that person. I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed. I just want to do and chuck things out. And I understand that being a profile 3, it's all about experimenting and it's not about making mistakes. It's about seeing what works and what doesn't. And then whatever works, that's when I universalize it with the rest. And understanding that, like with what you said, it takes so much stress out of your life. I'm like, it's okay, it's okay if I write a post and it just bombs out, or it's okay if whatever. And just that showing up on a social media was also, and I think a lot of people can relate, feeling that pressure to constantly show up. And when you actually realize it's your energy, whether you're showing up or you're writing a post, if you're going live, if you're going for a walk, at the end of the day, it's your energy that is a game changer, for your business, for your life. And doing more courses, more workshops on how to attract ideal clients, on how to communicate, on how to create 10K in 2 days, whatever it is. All of this, I'm sure, is amazing, but unless you sort your energy out, it just becomes unsustainable, because it just, you kind of, well, yeah, because when you have no energy, you have no life. That's the way I see it. So it's like addressing a root cause of so many issues that sometimes we don't even think about it, like if someone can't create a flow of, let's say, the ideal client to the business, they will focus on how to have more clients or how to run a Facebook group or how to become more profitable on Instagram. But the energy, the magnetism is the core. And I think once you address that, that's when everything starts flourishing.
Yeah, if we do not work within our energy type and we have no energy, we cannot magnetize people to us. It's just impossible. It won't happen. I literally see that flow happening when, I'm studying, I'm doing my research, and I'm resting, sitting down, reading, and people just start messaging me, hey, can we do this? Hey, can I work with you? Um, and when I'm initiating from that space as well, like, hey, do you guys want to test this out with me? Then everybody's on board. But before that, I really had the time to sit down and rest and recharge my battery so that I can then have the energy to go on. And it's different for every type, like you were saying, but it doesn't matter which type you are. If you're not operating correctly within your energy and you don't have your proper rest rhythm, is my experience says it's just not going to work. It is not.
Yeah, you're just pushing up the stream, right? And perhaps it works. I mean, we do see successful people who have no clue about human design, who push, and I know a few of them, like 8-figure earners personally, and they all had a burnout. Most of them had some sort of health condition in the past, and that's, how they push their way to the top. But like what you said, also from my experience, when I was lying out flat with Corona, and I had this visioning board in front of me, and all I could do is just like literally read through my vision, read, read, read. And at the end, like once I started coming out of it, I was like, oh my gosh, this opportunity came through, this opportunity came through. Maybe not at in full power, but I definitely saw the motion, like there was an opportunity to speak at the summit. There was a publishing thing that came through. There was, the clients started reaching out. I was literally lying flat in bed. I haven't posted in like 2 weeks. I was like, oh my gosh,
What is happening?
that,
It's so cool.
that's amazing, right? I was just like responding in my mind. I was like, I'll get back to this person, I'll get back to that person. That's all I was doing. Yeah, no, it's super powerful. Amazing. Well, thank you so much. And do you still, by the way, I wanted to ask you, do you still do aura readings or have you pivoted into something? You still do that?
I do read.
Um,
I am now, then again, initiating something new. I'm testing out a 12-week program. Each week, a person has a different type of aura reading, and we are aiming to manifest three goals in relationships, money, and career. So I have, surprisingly, I initiated from this space. I was doing my research, and then I thought, you know what, I'd like to try this. I'm looking for two people, and suddenly I have 11 who want to join in. So I just created the space to accommodate everybody, and I reduced on the single individual sessions of oral readings, but it's still there. It's something that I want to initiate others into doing what I do so that then I can let go of that too. But for now, I am still, so it's a good time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sounds amazing. And guys, I mean, check out Soraya. Definitely her aura readings are incredible, like really amazing experience. And I think we've got some questions. So it's not Mary or not. Okay, Nancy, I'm not really sure what the question is. I think it's more of a statement. So, okay. Well, anyways, it was so nice to talk to you. Thank you so much. I will post the video probably later today or tomorrow on Instagram. And I also wanted to add quickly, if anybody feels drawn to know more about human design, please reach out to me, Soraya. And I'm also running a workshop on the 5th of February. It's going to be 2-hour deep dive into how we are energetically designed to make decisions, navigate through any challenges in business and life, and also communicate and use our energy in a way that is sustainable, because energy is our greatest currency. Without it, there's just nothing else. So attending to it is extremely important. So the workshop was on the 5th of February. Link is in my bio. Check out Soraya and have a lovely day.
This is definitely something I wish I had access to as soon as I started my business, or even way
Absolutely.
before. That would have made things so much easier for me. Totally with
Yeah, I
it.
don't know even in the business. I mean, I speak to like moms who like just multitasking, don't know what, and even with children, because if you've got a projector, manifest, generate a child, you're like, blows your mind. So I've got a manifest and generator, and they're like chalk and cheese. So even understanding that, you can shave like so much hours of your day trying to communicate and negotiate with them, just pick your battles wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, amazing. So good to talk to you, and enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
Lovely to have
Bye.
you here with you. Bye.
Bye.